Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Charlie Bengel Jr., the CEO of Remax Allegiance, and welcome to today's The Allegiance Way Show. My special guest today is managing broker Brian Block. Brian, good afternoon, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Charlie. Thanks for having me on today.
Always good to see you. Brian's been with Remax Allegiance for 18 years. He's been one of our managing brokers since 2009, managing the Alexandria West and Old Town locations, licensed in Virginia and the district, and his previous life was as a real estate attorney. So always kind of involved in the real estate world. Tell me what brought you into real estate to, get a license, give up the whole law thing, and just serve clients?
Well, so I was practicing law for a few years, and so at the tail end of my law career, I was doing real estate law, and I saw everything that could go wrong with a real estate transaction, because basically that's who comes to see the attorneys.
Right.
And if they come to us up front, we could put it together and make sure that there are no problems, but they'd rather spend more money on their lawyers and fix up the problem at the end of the day. So I did learn everything that could go wrong. And then in my real estate career and sales, I'm able to prevent those things from happening. And certainly as a real estate broker, managing many agents in our offices, I see the problems that happen. I also see smooth transactions. And I think we're able to really negotiate through that and make more of our transactions very smooth.
I like it. So being on the other side is what you've committed to doing. So it is April 29th, 2020, for those of you watching in the future, perhaps on YouTube, and we find ourselves with stay-at-home orders in the middle of COVID. And hopefully when people are watching this in the future, COVID will be nothing but a distant memory. But we're in about week 5 of this being a super significant issue, right? We kind of saw it coming over from China and this and that, but we're probably week 5 of it being a super significant issue in the DC metro area. Talk to me about how's the market overall? What are you seeing out there?
Overall, the market is still pretty much thriving here in Northern Virginia, DC area. It's not business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my mask, I've got my hand sanitizer like everybody else.
Sure.
People are still buying and selling homes. If you read the national news, you might think that calamities are going on. And the market certainly is down. I looked at some of the statistics, in Alexandria, where I do a lot of my work, the market's down about 13% this April versus last April. But that being said,
so when you say down, contracts written, sales, define down for me.
Sure, I'm talking about number of closed sales in the month.
Okay, all right.
Down about 13%. Now, some of those may have gone to contract 2 months ago or days ago.
Sure.
Certainly, it's been impacted. But that being said, in Alexandria right now, there's 199 properties that are on the market. There's 208 pending sales, and 216 homes have actually gone to closing in the last 30 days of April. If you look at the broader market, I like to look at like about 10 miles of the White House, because that's sort of the market that we work in.
Yeah.
If you look at that radius, the number of closings is down a little more significantly. DC's got a little bit stronger stay-at-home orders than some of the areas, so I think that's accounts for the bulk of that. But we're looking at a little over 30% less closings in this April than last April. But houses are still selling.
So before COVID hit, things were uber competitive, right? You and I would talk at masterminds and other events about 10, 15 contracts being written on one townhouse, right? And there being 9 or 14 losers coming out of that transaction, right? That still wanted to buy. What are you seeing in the market now? Are there some opportunities for buyers who are comfortable? Maybe they're comfortable, financially. They're not worried about losing their job or being furloughed.
So I could talk about my particular business. I reached out to all of my clients and my prospective clients over the last few weeks, just to check in on where they were, what the status is, and how they're doing through all this. Not necessarily just to talk about real estate.
Yeah.
And certainly there's a few folks who have put their plans on hold, whether they were supposed to be moving for their job or for the military. Some of those plans are on hold.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are uncertain about their finances. But then there's other people who we're going out, weekly to go look at homes. There's sellers who have to sell either because they've already moved and their house is sitting vacant.
Mm-hmm.
they're an investor and their tenants have moved out. So there's some activity in the market. Just as an example, about 2 weeks ago, I put a townhouse on the market. We got 15 showings over a weekend, and we got 5 contracts over
Wow.
price by Tuesday.
That's something, even in a COVID market, right?
Correct. And we're changing the way we do things a little bit. Obviously we're making there's no overlapping appointments. There's no open house, actual physical open houses. We're doing more video.
Okay.
Consulting with clients online through Zoom or FaceTime. Even calling up clients and having a beer over FaceTime.
Right. I like it. So that was going to be my next question: is how has your business changed since COVID became a reality? So the message to the audience today is you're still in business, right? People are still buying and selling real estate, but you've pivoted your business. Talk to me a little bit more about the more virtual real estate world, the precautions that you're taking. You mentioned, a mask and some hand sanitizer, but get into a little bit more detail about how you've pivoted.
Sure. Well, so the first thing probably, on listings is that we make sure that they're spaced out so that, we don't have 2 or 3 agents coming to show the house at the same time. We try to have hand sanitizer and foot covers in the home. We put special remarks up there that really people should be pre-approved before they go into the house, because we don't want just a bunch of lookers. We're trying to minimize the amount of actual traffic to the listing.
Right.
With buyers, and all the buyers are very comfortable with this, driving in separate cars now. We're not really driving together in the same car to maintain that social distancing. And trying to look at more houses online and really narrow it down to the actual homes that we're going to go see in person.
Got it. Good. So what recommendations do you have for people that need to transact now? And I thought what you said a minute ago, we've said for years, you and I have been in business almost the same amount of time, right? You need to be pre-approved before you start looking. You just need to be. And there's been some agents that have been a little lax about that, but now more than ever, I mean, put yourself in the shoes of a seller. You don't want people coming through your house that are not able to buy that house, right? So beyond the importance of getting pre-approved, what are your recommendations for people who need to buy now, and then even recommendations for people who may need to sell now?
Sure. And not only that, not only getting pre-approved, but the fact is right now that you might actually be able to afford more house now than you might have been able to afford 2 months ago, because the interest rates have gone down
right.
too much. So, definitely check with the lenders on that. I'm also advising buyers, be ready for these bidding wars. They are happening, but, I'm also advising buyers very strongly, don't get caught up in the hype of a bidding war, because you don't want to find out you get the winning bid just to win and then be upset with yourself, be upset with me because you paid too much for that house. I'm trying to guide people to be realistic about their purchases and be happy with the purchase that they make.
So those people out there that are thinking, you know what, I'm going to wait till prices drop 20%.
We're not seeing that. We're really not seeing price drops. There may be some, like I said, even though there's bidding wars, there may be some opportunities for buyers to get in, because there are some less buyers out there than maybe during non-COVID times. Right. But that being said,
less doesn't mean none.
Doesn't mean none. And,
right.
Certainly in some of these areas, like certain areas close to Old Town Alexandria, close in suburbs of Arlington, Falls Church, these hotspots. Every home I've shown clients there, we've seen that have been dozens of showings and multiple offers on most of these properties. Got it.
So the hotspots are still hot, although buyers have the opportunity to maybe be involved in a bidding war with a few other people instead of a dozen other people. That's what I'm hearing.
Correct. And it's important to understand we had very low inventory well before this. And
right.
And it hasn't really increased that much. The inventory is still very low. And people reading in the newspaper about the national market, there is no national market. It's really very local.
Yes, and thank you for saying that. I'm always an advocate for our associates at Allegiance to use those hyper-local stats, because the national stats really are fairly worthless. So we've been talking about buyers. Tell me about the seller that needs to sell. Maybe they're on the fence. They want to wait. I'm hearing that inventory is so low and things are so competitive that, if you're comfortable, now's the time to go. and go ahead and list instead of waiting, because there's a lot of people on hold. I mean, let's be real, right? There's a lot of properties that are temporarily off for whatever reason. And those will come back online here in the next month or so. So would you recommend that if you know you need to move and you're comfortable, or maybe you own a house that's vacant, would you recommend waiting or proceeding now?
Every situation obviously is unique. And so I would definitely recommend, starting the conversation and talking to me or your agent or whoever it is that is going to help you with the process, and getting all the information about the statistics, what's going on in your neighborhood, and making sure that your home is ready. And if you're ready and if you're comfortable with some showings, like I said, there's ways that we can minimize that by doing video, by doing Facebook Live open houses where, and I've even seen where agents have the seller themselves go around the house and answer questions about their house, or take pictures of their house and talk to people, so that very few people are going into the house. Inspectors these days for home inspections oftentimes don't have the clients come with them, don't even have the agent come with them. I had a home inspection the other week where, I went to open the door basically to get the key out of the lockbox, said hello to the inspector, met them, talked to them for a few minutes, and then they did their inspection. I got the inspection report and was able to negotiate the inspection based on that without physically having been there for the inspection. So for sellers, if it makes sense financially for you, if you need to move or you want to move, I think now's as good a time as any.
Excellent. So what are the advantages of you working with a large international real estate brand? What are the advantages for your clients?
Well, I think first of all, we have that recognition. Everybody recognizes the balloon, Remax.
Sure.
And as well, we have such a huge network that oftentimes people are moving here from elsewhere. And if they're selling their house there, they may not know somebody. And I have a lot of these connections from 18 years with Remax, knowing people in other parts of the country, even other parts of the world, that I've gotten referrals from and sent referrals to, knowing that those people would be highly professional. And I also think that we really stand out in the marketplace in terms of just recognition of our professionalism.
Awesome, very good. So if people want to get in touch with you, if they have further questions, what's your website?
Sure, my website, it's very easy. It's just like my name, www.brianblock.com.
brianblock.com. I love it. Hey, Brian, appreciate you taking the time to be on the show today. Have a great rest of the afternoon. Take care.
Thank you.